So whenever women come out to talk about how Umada has become a tool for patriarchy, and when they talk about Igbo patriarchy, the mistake that men do is that they want to assume that women that are talking about these things are fool, or they are children, or they are nattered. They did not live in their communities to see all those things happening, or to see the privileges that Igbo women have. Now, as somebody that I am deep into studying my culture, I love studying my culture, I love my culture. So I want to understand my culture better and my spirituality as an Igbo woman. So I pay attention. And these women that talk about these things, their arguments are not misled. Every single issue women are talking about, it exists. Recently, a group of women in Oka came out to protest against the widowhood right, whereby a woman was forced to drink the water that they used to bathe her late husband. We've had series of stories whereby a woman, once the husband dies, the husband's families would come out, chase them out of their house, and take over their property. We've heard about stories whereby when a man dies, the brother moves in and decides, oh, you're not my property, you're not my wife. I'm not going to be marrying you because in our culture, I'm supposed to be sleeping with you. We have stories whereby a woman would bring money, fix up her father's compound, make things okay, even build a house there. Upon the time when her parents dies, her elder brother will come and say, oh, this is my house, go and marry. And they will start to humiliate her in that house, making a lot of women to say they can never build a house in their father's house. And this is because of what Igbo culture has proceeded and said, oh, this house belongs to the first son. There are a lot of practices, even this one of inheritance. There are a lot of practices that are existing that Anyande met them. But what I want us to understand is that it is these things that we are saying, it is not the full picture. It is what I call alobalafo obiabolo omenani. If I about alobalafo obolo omenana, let me start with widowhood rights. It is not an intricate aspect of Igbo culture. First of all, when somebody dies, our ancestors understood that immediately when somebody it can literally kill you. Because themselves, that are women that are going to handle those corpses, they themselves would have to wash themselves and even stay in seclusion for 2 weeks before they join society. Why are they now staying in seclusion? People now began to do this practice of baiting a late person, and it is when greed entered. The practice whereby the man, when a man dies, his younger brother can take over the wife. What did Igbo culture say about that practice? First of all, that practice has nothing to, it's not even a sexual or an intimate relationship. You're not even supposed to be intimate with her, especially when she does not want it. It is not a culture that says that, yes, it is a must that you take over. That's not it. If the woman says no, that's it. But why did that culture exist? That culture exists because our ancestors wanted the woman to be catered for. In today's reality, in today's generation, it's meaningless. But then, because women were more of pampered, and we're more of you cannot do this strong thing, because as at that point, wealth is synonymous to strength. If you're able to cultivate and have farms, it depends on today. Women are what we are now because the means of having economic resources have shifted from physical strength to mental strength. You get? But as at that point, that Ihachewani existed because of what? They needed or they wanted the man to take care of the woman and to also take care of the children in the marriage. But what we are seeing today is that these men take over the women for just sexual purpose. They sexually objectify them, but they don't also pick up the responsibility. They even go as far as attaching responsibility to sexual gratification. Do you see where we lost it? The issue of inheritance, to me, it affects both men and affects both women. Personally, I'm of the opinion that an ancestral land should always remain in the family. An ancestral land should remain in the family. You get why? A woman can marry and goes into another family and starts bearing children for her husband's people. To me, it is not proper that she also opalo binnaye opaga bedie, which means you're taking the wealth and resources from your father's house and taking it to another family. No. This is why our ancestors did what? They did not allow inheritance, ancestral lands, to be inherited by their daughters. They will not say this ancestral land will be inherited by the first son, not even the second son, not even the third son, not even the last born. This ancestral land will be inherited by the first son, because to us, first son is a direct representative of the ancestors of one's lineage. So they'll continue it like that. There are other spiritual interpretations, but that would be like another video. Now, Igbo culture says that if a woman, once you're married, and they may do not go, Idununo is a form of inheritance for women, but we did not know. Some of us, when we got married, they did not do that also. No, they did not give us our own share of a family inheritance. And this is because they did not classify it as a form of inheritance. Because this is when the father, the family, would now gift the woman. If the family is wealthy, that they can afford land, they would even give land to their daughter during her idununo. And also, when she now gets married, her husband would also give her a piece of land as an heir. Today, that anede can be seen in form of the husband opening a business for the wife. So there is so many context, or there is so many in-betweens about Igbo culture that we are not aware of. We now allowed Alo to now overcover. And when people now want to put culture, they are now repeating that same alo as culture, because these people do not have the proper understanding, the context of what this culture represents or what this culture is actually talking about. Now, I'm not saying that Igbo culture is perfect. No, Igbo culture is not perfect. But the Igbo culture that I have come to understand from an ancestral point of view was trying to create an environment that holds on to human dignity, irrespective of if you're a man or if you're a woman. They were trying to be fair, because if there is a male institution, there will be a female institution. They did not want to neglect one institution against the other. So they don't want to neglect one gender against the other. But then, just as every other culture, there are still things that they did not get right. One is FGM. One is FGM. I don't see, that's another conversation.